Welcome to this C++ tutorial. So in the last tutorial we read about friend class. So a friend function of a class is an outlined class that is outlined is a friend of function of a class is outlined outside that class scope. However, it has access to all. However, it has access to all its private and protected members of the class. So a function which has been declared as friend is to be outlined outside that class, and its scope will and it can access all the data members of that class, whether it may be private or protected. Now you can also use the function outside the class using the scope resolution operator. Here void box scope resolution operator set width. Now this is used as a setter function. This is needed for setting the width of the class box. Okay, so now let's come to enumerator. You can think of enum may be a user-defined data type in C. Enum is a user-defined data type in C. It is in the main. It is mostly used to assign name to integral constants. Okay, it is a user-defined data type. It is used for assigning name to integral constants. The names create a program straightforward to read and maintain. Suppose we have constant 1, constant 2 and constant 3. So in order to name this 1, 2 and 3 we are using enum. Okay, so let's see this example. Here think of enum as a class. Okay, here enum is class, week is the enum name, and Monday, Tuesday to Sunday are its data members. Now Monday is assigned to 0, Tuesday 1, Wednesday 2, similarly Sunday to 7. This numbering starts from 0. Okay, in a continuous way. If you don't want to assign it 0, you have to write mon equal to 1, Tuesday equal to 2, Wednesday equal to 3. Okay, then Sunday will become 7. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sunday is 6 here. Okay, because it starts with 0. Now in order to access the members of enum, we need to first create its object. So enum space week space day. So week is the enum name, day is its object. Now you are assigning day equal to fri, So once you print day, instead of printing fri, you are going to print the integral constant attached to fri. So the integral constant attached to fri is 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. So 4 is printed instead of fri. As I told earlier, enum is used to assign name to integral constants. The names create a program. The names create a program straightforward to read and maintain. The names create a program straightforward to read and maintain. Now come to constructor. Constructor is a member function of a class. It is mainly used to initialize the objects of the class. It has the same. Okay, so constructor is a member function of a class. It is similar to functions. It is used to initialize the objects of the class. It has the same name as the class name. Whenever an object is created, the constructor is automatically called. It is a special kind of member function of a class. Now, difference between constructor and other member functions. The constructor has the same name as class name. The constructor is called whenever an object of the class is created. Whereas you have to call the function specifically. A constructor does not have a return type. You need to remember this. When a constructor is not specified, the compiler generates a default constructor, which does nothing. There are 3 types of constructor: default constructor, which takes no input; parameterized constructor, which takes some input in some formal argument. It has formal parameters. A copy constructor is also there. It is used for copying one object to another object. That is all the data members are copied to the new object of that class. Now destructor. Destructor are another type of member function. It is responsible for destroying or deleting the object of the class. Whatever object you created of that class will get deleted once your destructor is called. So the syntax of destructor is this this specific symbol and then the name of class, bracket open, bracket close. So a destructor, as we know, destructor destroys or deletes the object. It frees up space occupied by the object. It frees up space occupied by the object after it is no longer needed. A destructor is called automatically when the object is out of scope and is no longer needed. A destructor has the same name as the class name, but the only difference is that the name is preceded by a symbol. This one. There is only one destructor in a class. A destructor has no return type and no parameter. If we do specify a destructor in class, then the compiler creates a default destructor. The default destructor works fine unless memory is dynamically allocated or pointers declared in the class. The destructor is called when a function ends, a program ends, a block that contains the local variable ends. A delete operator is called in the program. Now standard template library (STL). The STL stands for standard template library. It is a set of C++ template classes to provide common programming data structure and functions. This standard template library is mostly in most of the coding exams are blocked by default because most of the data structures and functions like list, stack, array are already present in this. So, but those coding exams need the student to learn, so they don't allow them to use this list, stack, and array of standard template library. It is a set of C++ template classes to provide common data structure and functions such as list, stack, array, etc. STL has three components. Sorry about that. STL has three components: containers, algorithms, iterators. So in advanced C++ concept, we are going to learn file and stream exception handling, dynamic memory management, signal handling, multi-threading, and containers. So first we start with files and streams. Okay, sorry about that. File and stream. Files are used to store data in a storage device permanently. File is used for storage purpose. Okay. File handling provides a mechanism to store the output of a program in a file and to perform various operations on it. File handling provides a mechanism to store the output of a program in a file and to perform various operations on it. A stream is an abstraction that represents a device on which operations of input and output are performed. File handling provides you a mechanism to store the output of a program in a file and to perform various operations on it, like read, append, write. A stream is an abstraction that represents a device on which operations of input and output are performed. A stream can be represented as a source of or destination of characters of indefinite length, depending on its usage. In C++, we have file handling methods. These include ifstream, ofstream, and fstream. These classes are derived from fstream base, and from the corresponding iostream class. So these classes are derived from fstream base and from iostream class. So let's see what is offstream. This stream class signifies the output file stream and is applied to create files for writing information to files. OF stream. This stream plus this stream class signifies the output file stream output file stream and is applied to create files for writing information to files. OF stream. This stream class signifies the output file stream and is applied to create files for writing information to files. IF stream. This stream class signifies the input file stream and is applied for reading information from files. So OF stream is for writing information to files, IF stream is for reading from information from files, and F stream is for the stream class can be used for and F stream is for reading as well as writing from the file from a to file. C++ provides us with the following operations: file handling, creating a file use open, reading a data read, writing new data write, closing a file close. Now exception handling. We are talking about advanced C++. Okay, so you read about file, now come to exception handling. In exception handling is a phase which deals with handling errors and exceptions that arise in runtime. Exception handling is a phase which deals with handling errors and exceptions. So exception handling is used for dealing with errors and exceptions that arise in runtime due to mistaken code or invalid output or invalid inputs entered by the user. Suppose you want to divide a number and print the quotient for it, but suppose the user entered 0, so you can't divide a number by 0, so it will give an error. So in that case you need to use exception handling at that place, because you don't know what user might enter. Suppose user enters 0.0000 something like that. So suppose you are only taking integer, so in that case also you can get error. We have two types of exception handling: runtime exception handling and compile time exception handling. When you consider exception handling, there are three terms associated with it: try, catch, and throw. Throw is used for throwing errors explicitly by the user. Okay, so user can decide which error to throw. And try is for the try is for trial. This code inside this block is like a trial code which might throw an example. So you are basically telling that this code inside this block may throw an error. So try and catch works together. So the catch will only check for this try block. Okay, if it wants to catch the errors. Okay, so catch will only catch errors which comes out of the try block, or simply which might throw an exception. So in the try block you have to write if the user wants to himself throw an error, you need to write a throw inside this try block, and for catching that error you need to use the catch block, catch catch exception E, something like that. This code in this block is executed with the code in the try block. The try blocks throw an exception. So the code in this block is executed when the code in the try block throws an exception. Now throw. This keyword is used to throw an exception when it is encountered. The exception is sent to the exception handler. Now sometimes so you are catching some arithmetic exception error, but you get array out of bound error, so you won't be able to catch it. So that is handled by exception handler. Dynamic memory memory management. Dynamic memory management. There are basically two ways to assign memory to a program: dynamic memory allocation and static memory allocation. Using dynamic memory allocation, we can overcome the drawbacks to static memory allocation. This enables the user to interact with the memory of the computer in the runtime and use the memory according to the requirement of the program and deallocate it as soon as the program finishes execution. So what is the advantage of dynamic distributed here? Dynamic memory management enables the user to interact with the memory of the computer uh, during the runtime and use this memory accordingly to the requirement of the program and deallocate it as soon as the program finishes execution. I can give you a quick example. You create a static memory you, uh, you allocate a memory statically like int a 100. Okay, now you tell user to input the integers. Okay, so user keeps entering and then he doesn't want to enter, so he stops now. Okay, so you don't know how much the user has entered. So suppose int a 100, it will allocate memory of 100 blocks statically, but user doesn't want to enter 100 integers. If user enters 50 integers only, the rest of the 50 block gets wasted. So in that case we can use malloc as well as or calloc for memory allocation, and we can use 50 blocks or whatever the size you want, and by using malloc or calloc we can resize the memory block of size also. So that in that case dynamic memory management increases the efficiency of the program. So you just need to know the definition of the signal handling. Signals are the interrupts delivered to a method by the software package which may terminate a program. Ultimately, you will be able to generate interrupts by pressing Ctrl or C on an operating system, Linux or okay. So interrupts are used to terminate the program untimely. That's it. Signals are used to trap surprising event. Now come to multi-threading. Multi-threading. Multi-threading is a specialized sort of multitasking, and a multitasking is that the feature that enables your PC to run two or additional programs at the same time. Okay. So multi-threading is a specialized sort of multitasking, and in multitasking it provides you a feature using which your PC, your CPU can run more than one additional program at a time. Okay. In general, their area unit two kinds of multitasking: process-based and thread-based. Process-based and thread-based. Process-based multitasking handles the execution of programs, and thread-based multitasking deals with the execution of items of identical program. A multi-threaded program contains a multi-threaded program contains two or additional elements which will run at the same time. Every part of such a program is termed as thread, and every thread defines a separate path of execution. Now, a thread is a small sized process. Okay, so you can think of a process which is of maybe 2 MB. So a thread is a part of a process, and it's of very small size. It contains path of execution of that process. So using threads we can apply multitasking. So here those are known as multi-thread. C++ doesn't contain any constitutional support for multi-threaded application. Instead, it depends entirely upon the operating system to produce this feature. So C++ doesn't provide any support for multi-threading, but instead it depends entirely upon the operating system to produce this feature. The C++ programming language has the following stages in multi-threading. First, you need to create the thread, passing arguments to thread, join or detach threads, and then terminate threads. Okay. Don't need to remember just code of just thread code. Okay. Okay. This also no one will ask you because no one remembers this thread case. You just need to remember the theoretical part of thread. What is thread? What is multi-threading? What is multitasking? Multitasking means execution of more than one process at a time. Join detach. This is one. Okay, so container. So this container here we are talking about maps. Associative container that sort elements in a map fashion are called maps. So a container that sort elements that store elements in a mapped fashion are called maps. Sorry, I just misinterpreted that word. So storing elements in a map fashion is called maps. So all the elements in a map are stored in a key value pair where each key is unique. Sorting is done with the help of keys, and the values are associated with each key. Values can be inserted and deleted as and when required. Okay, so here we are doing sorting using keys. Your keys are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and values are 40, 30, 60, 20, 50, 10. Okay, so in mapper we have two parts. One is the key type and another is a value type, and then there's this the map name. Okay, so first we are initializing map of key will be of int, value will be of int, and its name is Enumerator. Okay, so you need to include the header file map hatch include map here. Okay, and iterator also hatch include iterator is for iterating over this